What's up, everybody? It's the Up for Debate podcast. I'm here with Vib. I'm here with Jay. You guys already know we got a fun-filled, packed episode for you guys. Without further ado, let's hit that intro. It's up for debate. All right, so you guys already know I'm here with your two favorite hosts, and we're just going to kick it off for you guys right away tonight with an immediate topic, immediate debate. Let's get it. We're going to be doing an ultimate team trio battle. I'm going to try to do these every week. This is just assembling. I want to be clear, not the best overall at each of these positions, because a lot of people are going to go, why not Rodgers? I'm just assembling different players from different eras that I think would be cool to watch together. So the first team, we got the Packers with Favre, Amon Green, and Devontae Adams. Second team, Dib. I, of course, will let you do the honors of announcing this team. Go ahead.
I bet. So for the Vikings, we have Fran Tarkenton, who I think is the best quarterback in Vikings history. Shouldn't really be that much of a debate. AP, the greatest running back in Vikings history, and a top 5 running back of all time, and the greatest wide receiver in Vikings history, Randy Moss.
And Jay, you can take away announcing the rest of these two teams if you'd like to.
Yeah, Chi-Town, my city. You know what I'm saying? That's where my whole family's from and all that. So let's shout out Sid Luckman, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Walter Payton, no introduction. This guy's one of the greatest running backs of all time. And then Devin Hester, one of the greatest return men of all time, who also plays wide receiver, is a good wide receiver. And then, of course, you got the Lions. They're not that great, but my guy, Matty Staff, out here in L.A., just balled out. You know what I'm saying? Best quarterback of the weekend, got the dub. Barry Sanders, all-time legend. You already know. And then, of course, Megatron Calvin Johnson, one of the greatest of all time in his position, too. So, a lot of great players.
A lot of great players. Sums it up very well.
Yeah, a lot of great players. Though, Jay, I mean, you're from Chicago. You know what? I'm glad you ain't a Bears fan, because if you were a Bears fan, I'd spend too much of this podcast time roasting you, bro.
Definitely not a Bears fan. Not a Bears fan. But I got love for them a little. If they're ever good, I'll be a Bears fan. That's for sure.
Oh, well, that's never going to happen. So
Probably not. That's probably not going to happen.
Viv, out of all these squads, though, who do you got winning, though, bro? Who do you got winning?
Obviously, the Vikings.
Explain it. Tell us why.
I mean, Randy Moss is, in my eyes and most people's eyes, the second greatest wide receiver of all time. And AP is like at least a top 10 running back. I think he's a top 5 running back of all time. I mean, Walter Payton and Barry Sanders are greater running backs all time, I guess. But I mean, you can't really find a more well-rounded core than the Vikings. So you know what? I'm a roll with my bias and pick the Vikings. But honestly, I think that the prime Lions look really, really good. I think Barry Sanders. I think if you're addressing like the GOAT debate among running backs, Barry Sanders' argument is like one of the best, if not the best, single season running back season of all time. Versus Walter Payton. And then, obviously we know Megatron had an insane prime and like could be much higher all time if he didn't retire so early. And we're only just beginning to see Matthew Stafford's untapped potential because his career was getting wasted in Detroit. So
Facts. Well, actually, that brings my point, Viv. I'm gonna make my pick here next because that's why I can't pick the Lions and I can't pick the Vikings. Because I feel like they were just wasted potential. Like, those guys were so good, but they didn't do nothing there. They didn't win no championships. I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears. Sid Luckman, 4-time NFL champion. Walter Payton, 1-time Super Bowl champion. And Devin Hester, one of the greatest return men of all time. Those guys know how to win championships. I know we got Favre has 1 or 2. And I think Green might have 1. Devontae, shout out. I'm in Fresno right now, right by Fresno State, right here with my friends in Fresno State. So shout out to Devontae Adams alumni. But the Bears are my pick because they have the most championships. They know how to win. Green Bay Packers won 7 with Bart Starr. That's what I told you. I was like, Bart Starr might be the guy, but Sid Luckman. Give me some Sid Luckman and some Walter Payton. That's what I'm taking.
I'm not even gonna lie though. I don't like Sid Luckman at all. Because I mean, if you're looking at his from a career standpoint, if you're looking at his career, like he threw nearly as many picks as he did touchdowns, and like Brett Favre had a better career than him. Fran Tarkenton had a better career than him. Matt Stafford is definitely gonna have a better career than him.
Hey, they won championships though. All I care about at the end of the day is that who wins it, who won a championship, and who didn't. Because that's all I care about. Like if I like a team, Vim, and Dal, you already know, Dal.
Yep.
If I like a team, it's because they're winning the championship. My favorite team until this Saturday was the Buccaneers. And if they would have beat the Rams, they'd have been my favorite team again. But they didn't. You know, I'm rolling Rams house all day because they have a chance. Because that's all that matters. Like you could be great, you could put up 1,000-yard seasons as a running back. I want championships.
You should have been rolling Rams house anyway. You're from LA, bro.
No, don't get me wrong. I always am rolling Rams house, and I'm always like an LA guy, California guy. I love the Niners. I love the Rams. I kind of like the Chargers. So I got love for my home teams, but now I'm really all about the Rams, like 100%. Let's go, baby. Rams house.
If I'm rocking out with one of these teams, it's 100% the Lions. And like my second team after it is I'm with Viv. Looking at like what Viv just said about the turnovers, Peterson and Moss is hard for me to deny. As good as Green and Adams and Favre would be, I don't want to do any disrespect to that duo. That duo would be absolutely nasty in any era. The bottom duo is just insane. Somebody said an untapped potential. I totally agree with that with Stafford. And Sanders is a freak. Calvin Johnson is a freak. Look out for this Lions team. But this would be a really good battle. And let us know in the comments, guys, which of these teams would you guys pick and why? But I mean, what's up?
Y'all both together have not one single NFL or Super Bowl championship in your whole entire both y'all teams picks. Y'all realize that?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I mean, hey, but have those trios ever played together?
They haven't.
There we go. And
but
since those trios have never played together, you can't say that trio would not take you to a championship.
But here's the issue. Walter Payton won one without Sid Luckman, and Sid Luckman won without Walter Payton. They did it by themselves. Now you put them together, and then on top of that, the Lions franchise – I'm not going to talk about the Vikings. I like the Vikings. I like the Lions. But the Lions franchise, they just don't win championships. So I feel like no matter who you put out there, they just going to find a way to mess it up.
Fair.
I mean, moving on to our next topic now. The NFL playoffs, this was probably the best weekend. Moving on to point number 3, I'll just address it right now. This was probably the best playoff weekend of football we've ever had. It probably will be forever. If a game didn't go into OT, it was decided within 3 points. Every single game. That's absurd. I mean, addressing the first point, Burrow and the Bengals are elite. They're the real deal, is I think what we saw this weekend. These guys aren't messing around. Even if they get knocked out next round, this season is a win. They were written off as not even a playoff team. They go to the playoffs. They win first round. They win second round. And they're in the AFC Championship. Since the first time since 1988, I believe. That's absurd. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, you already know here on the Up for Debate podcast, we said that they were Super Bowl sleepers. The AFC was wide open. I know Dalton and Viv, I'm pretty sure you guys both agree with me, but we've been pretty high on the Bengals. I know I thought they were a team that could go all the way potentially this year. I don't know if they are going to. The Chiefs are a good matchup. They beat the Chiefs already once this year, so they might beat them again. I think Burrow could be the next Brady, really, if you think about it. He might be that next guy, especially with that first game where it was against the Raiders, and it was a controversial referee decision with the blown whistle. They stopped playing. They gave him the touchdown, like Brady's Tuck Rule game. So we have like a lot of similarities with Burrow and Brady. I feel like he might be the next Brady. He might be the next Golden Boy to win 5, 6, 7 Super Bowls. So I mean, I like the Bengals, and I see them. I think they have a great chance to win an AFC Championship game this weekend.
I completely agree. The only thing I'd be very, very wary of, in terms of like saying, oh, you know what, the Bengals already beat the Chiefs. Like the Bills blew out the Chiefs in the regular season. Like Mahomes threw like 2 picks in that game. Like one of them was a pick 6, and I remember, and Dawson Knox just destroyed the Chiefs. And then the Bills lost. I mean, it was a close game, but they lost. So I would say that like the worst thing that anyone or that any of us can do as like fans is underestimate a team that's underperformed in the regular season but performed brilliantly in the playoffs. The
True.
people did the same thing about Tampa Bay last year because like Tampa Bay got swept by New Orleans in the 2020 regular season, but then they destroyed them in the playoffs, beat Green Bay. They had 3 road victories in their path to the Super Bowl, and then destroyed the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So and so I think it's going to be a great game, but I still think that the Chiefs are going to come out on top. And I think that I know sounds like a bit of a generality, but I think that they're going to use a little bit of like the fire they had from like the or like yeah, I'd say like a little bit of like fire that they had from like the regular season or like the burn from the regular season from losing to the Bengals to like somehow find motivation to beat the Bengals.
I got a question for you real quick, Viv. Talking about what you just
Yeah,
started. Because I agree with you. I think I thought that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase would not play as great as they have in this weekend because they're going up against a team that are veterans. Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, Julio Jones, guys who've been here for a long time, not afraid of the big lights. But Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, I think they played really well for being really first-year players, first time in the playoffs. Franchise hasn't made it. Do you think that that's going to play a big role? Like Patrick Mahomes, who's been to 4 straight AFC championship, do you think that's going to be like the deciding factor of who wins this game? Like experience?
Experience is definitely a big factor. I mean, Burrow and Chase's first playoff game, a lot of the defense is really, really young versus this Chiefs team who has been in the playoffs for years now. Even everyone else like outside of Mahomes has been in the playoffs during like the Alex Smith days. So I feel that experience is definitely a part of it. However, Burrow, like the way he's playing like a 10-year vet. So I can't really complain.
Yeah, you guys took the words out of my mouth. Like everything that you guys said about Burrow is true, and especially to harp on that last point that Bib said, Burrow's playing like a 10-year vet. Moving on to our next topic, Deebo Samuel is the future of the wide receiver position. And Bib, I love the word that you used, brilliant. Deebo Samuel has been brilliant during the playoffs. He has been amazing. He's running the ball. He's catching it. He's doing everything that the 49ers need him to do to win the game. I think he's the future of the wide receiver position. I think a lot of teams are going to start looking for a guy like this. What are your guys' thoughts?
I'm gonna just disagree right away. Are you gonna agree or disagree? If you disagree, I'll let you go.
Nah, I'm gonna agree. I think that he is the future of the wide receiver position because I mean, kind of like 2016. I don't know if you guys remember rookie Tyreek Hill, but we saw the different ways that Tyreek Hill became used, especially in those like last couple of games when he started getting more snaps offensively. They put him at running back, they put him at receiver. Then he was like returning kicks and punts and stuff. And he was just a monster. I remember 2016 and 2017 Tyreek Hill when they used him more in a more versatile fashion. They don't do it as much now because they now have like McCole Hardman and Byron Pringle for kick returns and stuff like that. But I remember the way they used him, and I feel like Deebo Samuel is like he's like a Tyreek. Like he has some attributes which are like kind of similar to Tyreek Hill. Both amazing.
He's more physical though. He's a physical.
Yeah, he's more. He's bigger and he's more physical. So I mean, they're both like phenomenal yak guys. They're both extremely hard to bring down. But I feel like Deebo Samuel's increased physicality will be a big reason why the 49ers will continue to play him as their versatile gadget guy. And line him up pretty much everywhere, and that'll just be like impossible for teams to stop because they can do anything with him whenever they want. Not to mention they already have a bunch of other unstoppable pieces on offense. You got George Kittle, the best tight end in football. You have a good offensive line, which you can literally Shanahan, like we've seen throughout Shanahan's time in San Francisco, he's literally been able to, plug and play any running back he wants, like off of the practice squad, and they'll get you like 100 yards and a touchdown per game on 20 carries, which is nuts. So yeah, that's my pick.
This is why I'm gonna disagree with both y'all right now, is because the reason why I don't think Deebo Samuel is the future of the wide receiver position is because Deebo Samuel to me is like a running back who can run routes really well and catch the ball. And you have some guys like that, like J.D. McKissick. Sometimes they put him out and have him run routes. They've had a few guys that Christian McCaffrey's a guy who runs routes out of the backfield. So we've had receiving backs before. So I think that receiving backs will still be good and well, and they have been good and well for years now. But Deebo Samuel, as far as like him, because he plays like legit wide receiver like for a good amount of snaps, and he has been since he got in the league. But I don't think that we're gonna start seeing this like I'm gonna have my running back run routes half of the time, and then the other half he's gonna be in the backfield, running the ball. I think they're gonna have third down back still, where you have the third down back on passing situations who blocks and who comes out for routes. But I don't think that you have too many guys like Debo who are as good of a route runner from the running back position that can go out wide and go out in the slot and run routes like a real wide receiver. So there might be a few guys out there that are running backs. I can't think of maybe Aaron Jones. I can't think of too many guys that we would see doing it now or really in the future, because it's just really hard I think it's really hard to do that. Like, this man can do two things. Most people can't even do one. You feel me?
Yeah, I hear that. I like Debo too, but I mean, I hear what you're saying, Jay, about the running back position. But moving on to our next topic, Mahomes and Allen are the next generation's Brady and Manning. Who's Mahomes and who's Allen? What do you think?
Mahomes is Brady. Oh, hit it,
You think, Jay? Take it away, Jay.
All right, I just want to say, because I was literally talking with Sargent about this like for the past few days. I said people are mad at Mahomes every single playoff game for the past like 3 years because they say he's the luckiest player of all time. He's so lucky. Everything falls his way. This week it was a coin toss. The week before it's a penalty. The other week before it's a bad call by the other team, by the opposition. It's always something that it looks like the NFL is rigged and set up for Mahomes to make NFC Championship game after NFC Championship game after NFC Championship game. Who does that sound like? That sounds like what they've been saying about Tom Brady for the past like 15 years, that he's lucky. Everything's like, it's just him being in the right position, right place at the right time. They're always trying to discredit him, but yet he still continues to be successful. Bless you. They've been saying that. Bless you, my brother. They've been saying that Patrick Mahomes this year was a fraud. They were saying that he wasn't what he was because he had a bad start to the season. And what happens? He's back in the AFC Championship again. It's so Brady-like that people hate him so much, want to see him lose, but yet he keeps succeeding, whether it's by, they say, hook or crook, whether you call it luck, you call it whatever you want it. He's winning games. Allen is just a crazy good quarterback. People might say he's better than Mahomes talent-wise, but he's not going to have the success as far as championships go. He's not going to have the success as far as any of the stuff that, like with Brady and Manning. Manning may have been the better quarterback. People say, I know Wishlist says he was a better quarterback, but end of the day, 7 Super Bowls to 2 will win out, and Mahomes will have a bunch of Super Bowls, 4 or 5, maybe even 6 by the time he's done. Allen will get lucky to have 2, in my opinion. So that's how I kind of see it. That's my opinion on it. But I think Mahomes might be the next Brady, if not Joe Burrow. But right now, Mahomes is the next Brady.
What do you think of it?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that Mahomes and Allen are the next generation's Brady and Manning in terms of accomplishments, but in terms of talent, they're like a whole nother level. Brady and Manning, like Brady, I feel in terms of talent is like, I'd say the talent gap is so big that they have the potential, if they win as many rings as Brady by the time their careers are over, they'll definitely like surpass. But like, I mean, I feel like Brady, you're never gonna get some things in some quarterbacks, and you're never gonna get things in others. Like, for example, you're never gonna get Brady's decision making, IQ, and like quick release in most other quarterbacks. But you're definitely not going to get Mahomes and Allen's arm strength in quarterback in most other quarterbacks either, or their ability to throw off platform, or their ability to make big plays out of nothing, things like that. So I'd say in terms of an accomplishment standpoint, it's a good comparison. But in terms of like a what can this quarterback do standpoint, like these guys are like whole nother animals.
Yeah. I definitely agree, Vib. You took the words out of my mouth. And moving on from the next topic, I mean, I don't even think we need to talk much about it. And I think we all realize that. We've grown up watching this guy. When you're playing Tom Brady, the game isn't over until it's over. I mean, just I wanted to say a tribute to him this past weekend for what he did, even though they lost to the Rams. And that actually bridges us into our next topic, because both you two, Vib and Jay, actually took the Rams as their Super Bowl pick. So the outsider, me, Dalton, will take my opinion first, and then I'll let these two gentlemen take it. Look, my quote is this team and Jamar Chase are unstoppable, because I really, really like how this team plays. I think they're playing at a high level. They remind me of the Eagles when they won their Super Bowl, and that's probably the bias speaking. But, I mean, they're just smart, they're young, and they're hot. And when a team's hot, it's very hard to stop them. Jay understands that with how much he values winning. But that's pretty much all I have to say. But look out for the Bengals. They got that run game with Joe Mixon. They got the safeties. They got the corners. They are built to win right now, even though a lot of people probably don't want to admit it. But anyway, Vib, you picked the Rams. Tell us why.
I feel like the Rams are a really, really complete team, or a more complete team than they appear to be. If you look at, I don't know if any of you guys can name me a single linebacker on the Rams, for example.
Leonard
Can you
Floyd.
name me
Troy
a
Reader. Troy Reader.
Leonard Floyd.
He went to my high school.
Troy
That's
Reader,
the only reason why.
I consider Leonard Floyd more of a defensive end, like middle linebacker.
But I get what you're saying, Vib. I get your point because I've watched their middle linebacker. It's empty.
There we go. Okay.
Oh, my
So
bad.
I
That
feel
was a genuine question. My fault. Go ahead.
I was asking you both.
I'm from LA, y'all. Don't my opinion? I know things that I shouldn't know. It's like asking him about the Eagles. It doesn't count. Go ahead.
But I mean, you can't name me. And then also look at the Rams running back room. There you go. All right. They lost Cam Akers for the whole year, who was expected to have a really, really good season. Darrell Henderson was dealing with injuries. And so they played Sony Michel a lot of the times. Okay. So you'd think that because they don't appear to be, and then also who in their second, who do you really know besides, because Darius Williams had a pretty down year this year. Jalen Ramsey is obviously phenomenal, but Darius Williams had a pretty down year, and they lost John Johnson in the offseason and Troy Hill. And so coming in, I thought, okay, you know what? The Rams, coming into the season, I thought the Rams I knew the Rams were going to be good. I didn't expect them to be this good or this complete. Oh, and my friend Srini is in the live. What's up, Srini? Thanks for tuning in, bro. But I feel like they've been just so complete on both sides of the ball this year that it's impossible to stop. And Aaron Donald's impact is really, really being felt, especially in these playoffs. I mean, he his ability to take double and sometimes triple teams was the reason that Brady was hit and hurried so much, and the reason that Kyler got destroyed by the Rams defense last week. It's really paying off. And so that's why last week I chose him as my playoff MVP. I'm still sticking with that, and I think that his impact is going to be one of the big reasons why the Rams' completeness is going to lead them to the Super Bowl.
Good point. Good point. What are you thinking, Jay? You definitely agree with the pick.
I agree with the pick, and for similar reasons, but I have some different reasons. And this is what Mike on the mic, shout out. We all know Mike. He had a playoff challenge this week. So far, I have a perfect NFC bracket. I picked the Rams to win the Super Bowl. But the reason why I picked them is not necessarily because they do. Think about this. They were already a playoff contender, and then you add a top wide receiver, an Odell Beckham Jr. guy who I like a lot. Then you add Von Miller, one of the best pass rushers in our game right now. So you add these players. Nick Scott, a lot of the young players are playing amazing right now. They're playing some of the best football that they've played all season. So, but not only that, so we have that, and I know Viv touched on a lot. Viv is right. Viv, they have a tremendous roster: Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. But I picked them because they had the easiest road to the Super Bowl out of any team. If you look at the playoff bracket, so when I was doing the playoff bracket, I'm like, oh, this is a really easy road for the Rams because first, you play the Cardinals, so they should demolish, and they did. And we talked about that. Viv. I mean, the Cardinals could have surprised us because Kyler Murray's still there. So, I mean, they could have surprised the Rams if they had a down game, a chop game, but it didn't happen. Then they played the Bucs, and that was their tough game against the Buccaneers, and we kind of knew that. And they barely escaped Tom Brady, and they won the game. And then I don't know if you guys, I think we kind of had this already. I had the Niners beating the Packers. I thought the Niners wouldn't be able to match up well against the Packers. Niners ended up winning. Now I think the Rams have a really I don't think that's a hard NFC Championship game for the Rams against the Packers. I think there's a chance the Niners win. I'm not saying it's a walkthrough game, but there's a chance the Rams blow them out. And then they play the Bengals. I had to play in the Titans, but the Bengals, Titans, Chiefs, or Bills, in my opinion, would be a pretty – it would favor the Rams in a big game like the Super Bowl, in my opinion. So that's why I'm sticking with the Rams. I think that they have it all there. If the Niners beat the Rams, I mean, it's gonna be crazy. I think that'd be considered an upset, in my opinion. So I don't know. I think the Rams are the favorite team. They're the team I'm comfortable with, and the team I wouldn't want to play against if I was another team, in my opinion.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to play against the Rams if you're anyone. But I think that the Niners do have a slight chance of upsets because I think that 2 of the top 5 coaches in the NFL, in my opinion, lie in the NFC West. And they're Shanahan and McVay. And those coaching battles have been a real treat to watch because the Niners roster, other than 2019, on paper, did not look better than the Rams the last 2 years. Yet the Niners have gotten the best of the Rams, even with their injuries, even with whatnot. And
Well-
I think a large part you got to give credit to Kyle Shanahan. He
Yeah.
understands what he understands what he's doing, and he understands how to adapt on the move so that no other team can stop him. And so
This-
so that's going to be if the 49ers do upset the Rams. The Rams have been playing lights out this playoffs, so I think that the chance of an upset is lower than it was in the regular season because like the Rams when they played the 49ers, like they were already like kind of inconsistent on both sides of the ball, especially offensively because Matt Stafford was turning the ball over a lot. But like now, Matt Stafford's played turnover-free football. Only thing is Cam Akers had a fumble problem last game, but I mean, if they play like how they've played on both sides of the ball, the Rams are going to win. But I wouldn't put it past Kyle Shanahan to have another coaching mastermind game.
To finish that off, Vib, I want to say on record and agree with you that Kyle Shanahan, by far, to me, is the best coach in football. The only coach that comes close, in my opinion, is Andy Reid, which we're going to see him. We're going to talk about that right now, I guess. But, yeah, Kyle Shanahan, I think, will outcoach Sean McVay. But Sean McVay has so much more talent that I think the Rams should still be able to pull through. But I do agree with you. Kyle Shanahan is that guy when it comes to coach.
He's that guy. I love Kyle Shanahan.
Agreed.
If you guys had to pick, I'll go first real quick. In the Chiefs and Bengals game, somebody brought it up earlier that the Bengals won earlier in the year when they played. So I'm going to be an underdog. I think if I was a betting man, I would take the Chiefs, but I'm going to take the Bengals just for underdog's sake. I like Joe Burrow. But in this game, if I was a betting man, I would take the Rams. The Rams are the clear-cut favorite. I think Jay said it earlier that it would be an upset if the 49ers won. Would love to see the 49ers win because I also agree with Vib's point. There are two clear-cut of the best coaches in the NFL right here. So this is going to be a real treat to watch, as Vib said. I'm really excited to see what happens. But this is going to be a real treat too. I think we got really lucky, and I got to give the NFL credit. First round of the playoffs, we had some what I would call just absolute like teams getting the shit kicked out of each other, like the Eagles. It was embarrassing, and then you had teams like the Patriots.
Arizona got destroyed. The Patriots got destroyed.
The Patriots. All these teams get destroyed. So, but a lot of people were hating on the NFL that week. But I got to give the NFL credit. I think that they did a good job limiting it down to the 8 best teams. And moreover now, the 4 best teams of the season. This is going to be a real treat. What are you guys thinking?
Well, as they say, survival of the fittest. So, I mean, the best teams are going to win. The wild card round is just to like eliminate like who really like shouldn't be. It's like the distinguishment of like, yeah, who's here to win or like who's here just to be competitive.
Like happy to be
and
here.
like and so yeah, like who's just happy to be here, like the Steelers, like what Big Ben was saying, like he's like, oh yeah, we'll play to have fun. What kind of mentality is that? Nah, you play to win or you don't play at all, and that's what the playoffs should be about.
I agree. No, I agree with you, Viv. 100%.
And that's been my biggest frustration as a Vikings fan. That's my biggest frustration. Like I want to win. Like I don't want to be here just to be competitive. I want to win a Super Bowl.
No, I feel that. No, I like, man, I'm the biggest advocate of that. Anyone probably knows is that if you're not winning a Super Bowl, I don't care about you. I don't want to watch you. I don't want to support you. I only care about teams that are going to win a Super Bowl, like the Cardinals. I love the Cardinals until about week 11, and then I was like, I don't really care about the Cardinals that much. So I feel what you're saying, Viv. As far as the picks, I think we're kind of all going to be on the same page. I could be wrong. I'm going to go with the Bengals to beat the Chiefs. I love my cousin Tyrann Mathieu. I think he might be hurt, might not be playing. Love Patrick Mahomes, man. I've loved seeing him in these Super Bowls the past few years. But I don't know if the NFL is going to put him in what was that? It was like almost a 5th Super Bowl or something like that. It's been a lot of Super Bowls. I don't know if they're going to put him in another one. But I love Patrick Mahomes. I think it's time to see Joe Burrow and like an untested and unproven team, a team like with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl, in my opinion, at this point. I think that's the only team that I thought could have really won besides the Titans. But we have the Rams and the Niners. I have to go with the home team, just like Dalton said. I'm going to go with the Rams because it's a home team. You know what I'm saying? That's the team I'm rooting for. I'm going to be watching the game in Inglewood with a bunch of Rams fans on Sunday, so I'm going to have a good time. But my 2 favorite quarterbacks, Matt Stafford and Jimmy G, one of them is going to make the Super Bowl, so I'm happy. I'm happy for him. Those are my picks, though. Rams, Bengals.
It's going to be an amazing weekend of football. I'm really excited.
Yeah. It would be a dream come true to see a Stafford v. Burrow Super Bowl, because like you had the guy who's like redeemed his career by joining the Rams, and then making the Super Bowl. It's just like a story. It's like a story ending, and then like the guy who came off a gruesome injury and like leads his team this far in the playoffs, makes a Super Bowl in his first playoff appearance. Like that's an amazing. That's like setting yourself up for an amazing story.
Two guys who have never won a playoff game might mean the Super Bowl this year. That'd be
two guys who never won a playoff game before this year might win the Super Bowl.
That would be insane. That's a dope thing to think about. Moving on to our MVP picks, and one guy hasn't changed from this week to last week, and I'll save the best for last, and that's Jay. But I'm going to go real quick. Try to keep it to 1 minute if you can, guys, just because we got a couple more topics to cover. But I'm going to go with Joe Burrow for my MVP pick. I think this guy's played lights out. I had Jamar Chase last week. No disrespect to Jamar Chase, but Joe Burrow has been the real ringleader of that show. I got him hands down. He's been amazing to watch. He's been lights out, making all the right decisions, pressing all the right buttons at the right time to put the Bengals in a position to win. Moving on, as Joe Burrow's doing with his thumb, to our next guy. Viv, you got Eric Armstead. How come?
Eric Armstead was phenomenal. I had to make a tough choice between Eric Armstead and Fred Warner. I think the biggest upset of last week was the 49ers beating the Packers, a game which I enjoyed watching as a Vikings fan. Like, nothing makes me happier other than the Vikings winning, to see the Packers lose. Because it's just really, really funny. But, back onto the topic. Eric Armstead was a monster. And if you would just like give me a moment to pull up his stat line from last week. Like, I think this will say it all.
He did have an amazing week last week.
Yeah, Eric Armstead, double A,
yeah.
Let's get it. I like Eric Armstrong. I mean, you can't not like the Niners. Like they're just such a fun team to watch for sure.
What's funny is I almost put Debo too, but I'm gonna give Viv a second to find up that stat line. I didn't want to pick Debo because I didn't want us all to have the Niners, but I really wanted to pick Debo because I think Debo is a valid honorable mention too, definitely.
Debo also played well to his credit, but Eric Armstead, 2 sacks, 5 total tackles, 3 solo tackles. I mean, he was just flying around. I mean, the Packers have a really, really dynamic offense, and they're well coached. They got Aaron Rodgers, who is the best quarterback this season and should win MVP in my eyes. Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, great 1-2 punch of running backs, and Eric Armstead was a disruptor. I'd say that him and Fred Warner did the best job on that 49ers defense. Nick Bosa also played amazing, but, it was just a performance that we're used to seeing from Nick Bosa. But Eric Armstead and Fred Warner, when the Niners needed them to step up, they stepped up. And so they were my 2 picks for this week's MVP. But I had to give it to Armstead just because a little bit of positional value, because I feel like D-line is a bit more important than linebackers. And, D-line doing work kind of paves the way for linebackers to make an impact on the game. And so, yeah, I think Eric Armstead was a standout player this weekend, so I think that he should win. I think that he he's my divisional round MVP.
I want to give a shout out before I get to my pick to the Oos, my Samoan brother from the San Francisco 49ers, got the touchdown to win the game. I forgot it. I can't pronounce his name. It's like, what I'm talking about, right? The big guy on defense, rookie. Special teams ace.
Yeah. I know exactly. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Tufana. I can't say it's my fault, brother. I can't say your name, but you're a beast, bro. I hope you're balling. But let's get to my guy, Jimmy G. Jimmy Garoppolo, player of the weekend. Look, people said he wasn't as good as Dak Prescott not too long ago. He went out there, he beat Dak Prescott. That wasn't nothing. I mean, he did a QB draw, whatever. We'll leave that in the past. But then he goes on. People say, okay, he's not as good as Dak Prescott. He can't be as good as Aaron Rodgers, right? And I'm like, no, the Niners are going to take this. I've been pretty confident for a while the Niners are going to beat the Packers in the playoffs because that's how the bracket was going to work out, because the Packers got the 1 seed. Lowest seed was the Niners. Let's go. Jimmy Garoppolo played amazing, got the W, beat the Packers, and is moving on to the Rams and playing now, in my opinion, the best quarterback of the entire weekend as far as stats-wise was Matt Stafford. I think Matt Stafford played the best game as a quarterback. But Jimmy G, I think, got the biggest W. And now you talk about, this is what I want. This is why he's my player of the week again, is because he was the most doubted player of the weekend. We know Matt Stafford's good. We know Josh Allen's good. We know Patrick Mahomes is good. We know Joe Burrow's good. people keep hating on Jimmy G for no reason. All he does is win playoff games every time he's healthy. Last time they went to the Super Bowl. This time they're in the conference championship game. So Aaron Rodgers, Viv just said it, Aaron Rodgers is the MVP candidate. Tom Brady's the MVP candidate. Matt Stafford just beat Tom Brady, and Jimmy G just beat Aaron Rodgers. We got to show them some love. I don't want to hear this Trey Lance nonsense anymore because Trey Lance is not even half the quarterback Jimmy G is right now. Jimmy G's my guy. If he beats the Rams, if he could find a way to he beat the Packers in Lambeau, he win in Dallas and won there. If he could beat the Rams in LA, like, people cannot bad talk this man anymore. Like, he's been doing too much.
Yep. That's all facts. And, the Niners may have a QB luxury with two guys that could arguably be a starter. A lot of teams don't have that luxury. And I'm going to kick it to somebody who wants to address the elephant in the room, the Vikings fan in the room, Mr. Viv. I know this pains you to see, but it's something that you've definitely heard the rumors about by now. I'm sure that, Kirk Cousins could be a Steeler next year. Kirk Cousins this, Kirk Cousins that. What are your thoughts, bro?
Welcome to Allstate. We're bundling your home and office.
I'm so sorry. I looked up Eric Armstead's stats on ESPN, and it was like playing some ESPN ad.
It's
so
okay.
I apologize for that. But I mean, here's what I'll say: this year's quarterback class sucks.
Yes.
It's not deep at all. Okay, and so
Thanks.
I don't want first round picks. I mean, if we do trade Kirk, because here's the thing: Rick Spielman and Mike Zimmer were huge Kirk Cousins supporters, and they like firmly said, like, yeah, Kirk's our quarterback. We're not going to trade him. Like, even when the rumors were there last year that, oh, Kirk to the 49ers, blah, 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 blah. All right.
Disrespect.
Now, neither of those guys are here. We have a new GM. I really like our GM. He was like he was a guy in the Browns front office, and the Browns front office, I'd say their front office is good. To their credit, as disappointing as they were this year, their front office is very good. So I'm very happy with the choice at GM. Now, I think that the biggest thing that will determine whether Kirk will be a Viking, because he said in a conference that, okay, yeah, I want to be a Viking. All right. So I think we're clear from that end. Now, how the organization feels about him is purely dependent on who we hire as our head coach. I am hoping that we hire an offensive guy. Because I'm sorry about that. Because I feel like if we hire an offensive guy, they'll truly get a feel for like how good of a quarterback he actually is, and like understand how to play his strengths, or how to play with his strengths rather than a defensive guy. Because I've heard coaches talk about. I've watched a ton of press conferences. I've heard coaches talk about him. I heard Shanahan talk about him because Kirk Cousins has worked with Shanahan, has worked with Sean McVay, guys like that. And I feel like the offensive guys understands the way he plays the game better. And I feel like when Kirk Cousins had his two great seasons in Washington under Sean McVay as OC, Sean McVay understood how to use him, or understood how to play to his strengths. It's just Washington overall as a team sucked. They had no receivers, no defense, no anything. So it's literally just Kirk Cousins. I'd say that they were fortunate to go 7-9 or 7-8-1 or whatever they went, and 9-7 and make the playoffs in those years, because I mean, Kirk Cousins was really the only pretty high quality guy on that team. So I'd say if he had a better, if I put Kirk back on that Washington team, they're going to at least the divisional round. If I put so, and that's part of the reason why I want the Vikings to hire Kevin O'Connell or McConnell. I forget what his last name is, but he's the Rams OC, and he's under Sean McVay, and Sean McVay knows Kirk Cousins very well and coached him. And so I feel like that would be a good thing, even just any offensive guy in general, but especially Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
And so
I think
yeah, back to the topic. I mean, where if he gets moved or if he doesn't get moved, is going to depend on who we hire as head coach. I would prefer that we see him not moved unless we were to get a better quarterback, because this year's QB class sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. And what I'll say is, the one thing I wanted to address, and then I'll let Jay wrap it up. I want Jay to actually talk about this guy right here, but I'll take these two guys since you took Kirk.
Go ahead, Doug. Oh no, I'm just making a side note. Go ahead, Doug.
You good, you good. One thing I want to talk about is Aaron Rodgers. Actually, I saw an article today saying that he might team up with Devontae Adams and create a super team in Denver.
Woo!
And I thought about that, and I was like, yo, with that wide receiving core that they already have, with that defense that they have, with those running backs that they have, that would Noah Fant, that would 150% be a super team.
Yes.
So I would love to see this happen next season, and I think look out for the Broncos next year. Honestly, I think Aaron Rodgers can win in the AFC because a lot of people haven't seen him. Whereas he's been in the NFC his whole career, a lot of these teams know him. They know how to beat him. He can't win in the AFC. He can't win in the NFC. I'm sorry. Maybe he goes to the AFC and changes it up and follows in Peyton Manning's footsteps. And then down here real quick, I want to talk about Deshaun Watson. Miami's obviously the favorite. If they don't trade for him, they're idiots. If that's being said, if everything goes away with all the allegations and everything that's going on, but if they don't trade for him and everything goes away, they're stupid just because this guy is an insane player. But Jay, I want you to actually touch on this because there's rumors of Russell Wilson leaving next year. Now that Sean Payton's gone, could you see Russ headed to New Orleans?
At this point, I don't think Russ is going anywhere. I think it's all talk. I think Russ will entertain it a little bit, but I don't think he's going anywhere. I think I see Russ being a Seattle guy. If he does leave, it's not going to be New Orleans. I think he would leave to New York or maybe an LA team, but there's no space in LA right now for him. So I don't see him going anywhere. And that's only because of the Sierra thing. I don't know how much that really impacts things. I really think he's staying in Seattle. I think Pete's staying in Seattle. I think Russell Wilson loves it there. He's loved there. Why would he leave, really? In my opinion, they just need to get some pieces around him and make another playoff run, and he'll be fine. He's a great quarterback. I think he wants to retire in Seattle, in my opinion. I don't think he's going anywhere. But what I do want to touch on, Dalt, really quick, because I don't think Deshaun's going anywhere. I think Tua's fine. I don't like Deshaun. I think he shouldn't even be in the league anymore after everything that's going on. He didn't play last year. He didn't want to play. I'm fine with that. Last thing I'll say, Aaron Rodgers, and that. So we were talking about Mike on the mic. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to get, Mike gets Chargers season tickets. Reason why is because you see Patrick Mahomes, you see the Raiders, you get to see the Rams, and you get to see this guy in Denver with possibly Devontae Adams. We just talked about the AFC is wide open for the Bengals. How wide open would it be for Aaron Rodgers? I don't think the Packers are a good team. I think they have great offensive weapons. They have Devontae Adams. That their offense is amazing, but I just don't think that they're a winning team. You put them on the Broncos, that's a winning team. They just won a Super Bowl in 2015 with Peyton Manning. They're going to do the same thing with Aaron Rodgers if he goes there.
I will say though that team has changed so much. I don't think they have a single guy from that 2015-16 team on the roster anymore.
But
no, Bradley Chubb was 2018 draft.
Wow, yeah, I think you're right then.
Yeah, because Von Miller just got traded. Remember? Chris Harris left after the 2019 season. A lot of like that team is entirely new faces. But I will say that I think that Rodgers will go to the Broncos. Okay, I agree with the Rodgers Broncos thing, but I think that Devontae Adams is going to go reunite with Derek Carr in Las Vegas, have a college reunion. I think that Denver is going to play this a little bit stupidly and be like, oh, yeah, we don't need Devontae Adams. Like, we're not going to pursue him. So I think that because the Raiders have nothing, okay? And they have an interim head coach, and they still made the playoffs. And Derek Carr is still a borderline. I'd say he's a borderline top 10. He's at least top 12.
For sure.
He's right there. Him and Kirk are about on the same level, and they're both like borderline top 10 / top 12 quarterbacks. Hard to rank them. So I would say that a college reunion would be great because give Derek Carr a receiver other than Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow, and you make that Raiders offense very scary. You give him a receiver now, you draft an O-lineman, that team is scary.
Well, I'll tell you all this. I was hanging out with Derek Carr's former wide receiver. Actually, I'm in Fresno. I'm right by Fresno State right now. I'm with a Fresno State student right now. My friend that goes to Fresno State right now. So I would love to see Derek Carr and Devontae Adams, Fresno State. Shout out. I'm right here in Fresno. We at Riverwalk. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm going to go ahead. I know the next topic is AB. I'm actually going to take off. This is going to be the last thing I'll say for the show, y'all. And it was a pleasure being with y'all, because I always love being here at Up for Debate with you two. But I will say AB should not touch the Ravens field. That's going to be bad. I don't want to see AB in Baltimore. I don't want to see if we see AB, it's got to be with like a super elite quarterback. At this point, I don't know if they even want him. It's a mess. AB's been talking crazy on the internet. He celebrated the Buccaneers loss like that was your former team. You're supposed to be rooting for your former team. He was like happy they lost. I don't know if I want to see him ruin Lamar because Lamar's young. He's not Tom Brady that can handle this stuff. I don't know. But anyway, man, much love to y'all. Appreciate y'all always. I'm going to be out, and I'll see y'all Monday. New start time next week.
Yes, new show Monday nights.
Yes, new show Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern.
And we'll get into that in a minute. But, Jay, thank you for coming on. And Viv,
thank you for coming, bro.
If you want to take this next, let us know, what are you thinking about AB in Baltimore? Do you think it's toxic?
Yeah. I think it's gonna go down the same way that Earl Thomas went down in Baltimore. If you remember that saga.
Yeah.
I think that AB, because I have a feeling that Baltimore's culture is like a zero tolerance culture. They're not gonna put up with AB's BS. And so if AB creates like even an ounce of BS, Harbaugh is not gonna put up with that. He didn't put up with Earl Thomas. He's not gonna put up with AB.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
And so while AB wants to, and also the feelings of like, oh, I want to play with this guy has to be reciprocated. So if Lamar doesn't want to play with AB after all the BS that he's done, then like it's not gonna work out. They're not, number one, they're not gonna sign him, and two, even if they do, it's not gonna work out. So I really don't see, number one, I really don't see this guy playing with anyone, to be honest, because like, I mean, if he couldn't play with Tom Brady, this guy is willing to sacrifice anything to win. Okay, Tom Brady takes pay cut after pay cut to keep his team together. Okay, like Tom Brady's like the best leader. He's the best leader in football. If this guy was not able to play with Tom Brady, like I get Bruce Arians is a jerk and like stuff like that. I can understand that, but I mean, come on, if you can't play with Tom Brady, you can't play with anyone.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you hit the nail on the head. If you can't play with Tom Brady, you can't play with anyone. And AB has a big ego, and I don't know if I would want to risk that if I was the Ravens with my young QB. I think
I'm not risking that. I'm going for a wide receiver in the draft if I'm the Ravens.
I think I am too. And you see what you have this year with what's his name too? The guy that they drafted last year. Drawing a blank on his name.
Rashad Bateman. He went to University of Minnesota. I love him.
Yeah, and he was pretty good in college. So see what you got with him.
He was amazing in college. I miss Rashad Bateman. I like the Gophers. So
see what you got with him. Bateman. Draft a guy like you're saying. Don't bring in AB. I think the idea of letting cousins play together is cool, but it's going to become toxic overall. But other than that,
it's not going to be harmonious. And Harbaugh, I feel like Harbaugh like realized the mistake he made with Earl Thomas and is not even going to like consider that he's going to be like. And by the way, AB said the same thing like at the beginning of last season. Like I don't know if you guys remember, and then Harbaugh like was like, yeah, we're not going to bring him in. Like we don't want him here.
Yeah, I do remember that because Harbaugh did say that quote. That's a really good point. I mean, at the end of the day, we'll see what happens, but I don't think it's a good fit. But I do want to thank you, as always, for coming on. Viv's back, guys. If you didn't know, he's going live on the TikTok too, so make sure to tune into that. His lives are always awesome. He's doing it with a ton of other great creators. A ton of good stuff coming on Up for Debate this year. Super proud to be a part of it with this guy and Jay.
Super excited to be a part. Nah, neither do I. You know what? Great episode. As usual, pleasure being here. You guys, our next episode will be Monday at 9 p.m. and that'll be our episode time going forth. 9 p.m. Eastern, by the way. So that's whatever time you're. That also applies to like whatever time you're in Central, Mountain, Pacific, International. But yeah. Anyway, pleasure being here. Glad to have another great episode, and we will catch you guys on the next episode. Dalt, can you hit that outro?
Got you, brother.